So Garret,
Hey man.
Garret Dillahunt, how you doing? I'm here talking about Ambulance, which is available now on digital and releases June 14th on 4K, Ultra HD, DVD, and Blu-ray. Now, look, this movie blew me away. Action's the next level. Everything in the Ambulance, though, feels like an indie character piece almost, but everything outside of it feels like this Michael Bay spectacle. What drew you to the project aside from working with the legendary Michael Bay?
Well, that was the main reason. I wanted to have that experience. I've heard the stories and I've seen the films. I think everybody secretly loves his films, even those that claim they don't. They're so much fun. And the scope that he thinks at, is very different than me. I feel like I paint on a very small canvas and he slashes paint with all kinds of brushes across a huge thing. It's fun for me to be around people that think that big, but this was a good cast. I think it's one of Michael's best reviewed movies. And I think it just rolls. It just rolls. You're right on the indie thing. It is an indie for him. This was a low budget movie for Michael, but I think what would surprise a lot of people is the sensitivity he had with the performances. And I think the best example is the kid, like the kid right at the beginning that got, sorry, is this a spoiler? Gets impaled by that fence. It's so good,
Right.
And right away, and you're like, am I getting moved in this Michael Bay movie? And I didn't think that was supposed to happen, but
Right.
yeah, and he really was good with us. I think he got good performances. If you got a thick skin, you're not fragile, and you don't take anything he does personally. He's just trying to make a good movie, and he's got the whole thing in his head, and he just flies by the seat of his pants. And it's a way that I really enjoy working. I really do. We got along really well.
I mean, I want to expand on that a little bit more, mainly because, as you said, I mean, when I think about like action movies, automatically one of the names that comes to mind is Michael Bay. And I think that he, like, as an action director, he's a legend. And you've worked with amazing action directors in the past, like Zack Snyder. Can you talk to me about working and collaborating with Michael Bay and the energy that he brings to his films?
Yeah. I mean, I think what served me well on this movie was finding a way to stay calm, because change is going to come quickly. We wrote things seconds before we shot them on this movie. There's things he didn't like, or that, that no longer made sense because of the location we were in, that he would have to change, and we would change it on the fly. So he's sitting on the curb, with his pencil and like, yeah, here, say this instead. It's a monologue to my guys, and he's like, okay, you ready? Let's go. Camera's up, and you just say, oh, I got to learn this now. Okay, and you do. I think a lot of times people put hurdles in their own way, thinking, oh, that can't be done, when in fact you can. It's kind of amazing what you can do.
It's interesting that you kind of brought up this kind of like a level of calmness, mainly because I know that you guys worked with law enforcement and SWAT within the film. And that I know that you stated that one of the things that you kind of learned from them was this level of calm that they have. Can you talk about that, the level of calm that you may have learned from some of these law enforcement experts, and then how you apply that to some of these changes that may have been going on set?
I don't know if I learned it from them, or as much as recognized it, I guess, or like, because I'm supposed to be one of them.
Right.
I remember one time Michael said, turn around and look at your guys. And I was like, I don't want to look at them because they look so tough. And I have an idea in my head of what I look like. And I'll look at them and think, oh, I'm just a poser. But what was cool about them, because there was a lot of real SIS and real, we had SEALs, we had all kinds of guys in my crew, that would advise us on lingo, on behavior. A lot of them are real plainclothes detectives who do this actual work. And yeah, I mean, they're just a kind of person that's good in a crisis, isn't there? There's a kind of person that no matter what's being thrown at them, they head toward it in a calm way, assessing threat levels on all corners, and are capable. That if you're freaking out, you're not going to help anyone. You
Right.
gotta stay calm, not get emotional about a defeat, just carry on, It's not unlike Terminators in a way, is it? They just, if the mission fails, they're not emotional about it. They just resume the mission in another form, and it's, I don't know. It was a good way to work on Michael Bay's movies.
Right. Can you tell me a little bit about your character, Captain Monroe, who you play in Ambulance, and what you wanted to bring to that role that wasn't necessarily on the page?
Well, I just wanted him to be a believable human being, and Michael helped out a lot with that. He was on his way to the dog run when this happened. So that plan got short circuited. Once again, stay calm, adapt, so he's in his, home comfies. He's an USC fan. He's going to walk his dog. I don't know why he drives a tiny car. It's a pretty picture, right? That dog was slobbering all down my right side, but he was so fun. And I just wanted him to be believable as a boss, as, a brother in arms. And I wanted him to be realistic. So I would try to inject some humor in there. I just wanted to be affected in real time by what was going on. I mean, I guess that's acting.
Absolutely. Now, this movie feels like a real big throwback to a lot of those famous action movies that we saw with famous car chases. Can you talk to me about the level of action that we see in Ambulance? Because I know that we say that this is Michael Bay's indie movie, but the level of action is amazing in this film.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it. I mean, I thought so big that a $40 million picture was, a low budget indie. I wish I felt that way. But I don't think he sacrificed any of that, largesse that's in his head. I think that might be why it was so kind of breakneck speed, and we had to go, and shoot on the fly, work on the fly. But I just think he's so good at it. I think he used all the cameras, the drone included, to sort of build the tension in each scene. I don't think there were superfluous shots at all. I felt like it was that and the music really just, led us right into each segment as it would slowly ratchet up. And I think he got great performances out of the actors. He cast some good actors in this.
1,000%. Now, a lot of the action was shot practically in this film. How does that bring the level of intensity up on set?
Oh yeah, he had a ton of great stunt drivers, that's for sure. We still wrecked a lot of cars, on purpose. But it's just so fun to. So many actors I know, we all love stunts. We all fancy ourselves, sort of junior stunt men, and it's great when we get to do our own stuff. It's an amazing thing when you're in a car, flying down the road, and inches away from you are other cars also flying down the road, and it's an adrenaline burst. That scene where they've chased the ambulance into that sort of locked off gravel, lot with the posts that the drone kind of went through like this, and that one shot where the car hits the bump and the drone flies right under it at that moment. I mean, it's exhilarating to see it, and you're like, this is happening right now. The kid on the VR operating the drone and standing stock still is like, I don't know what he must be feeling. He's like flying right under a car the timing, it's insane.
I was just going to bring that up actually, because those aerial shots in the film are beautiful and they're great and they're all done practically. And there's a great feature on the home entertainment release about the aerial drones. But Michael Bay is kind of known for using the latest technology at his disposal. What did having those amazing aerial shots add to Ambulance?
Oh, I think it added kind of what we were talking about here. Just you knew where you were, depending on the behavior of the drone. You knew the tension of the scene, the tension level, because it ratcheted up each time, and the music would sort of crescendo or go up an octave. And then as this guy's like diving us straight into the ambulance where it's like, oh man, what is this? What is this MASH unit in here? This fresh hell, I just think it's much more masterfully done than people realize. I really
Oh,
do.
absolutely. And look, the home entertainment release has a lot of great features to show that the
Oh, cool.
precision it's
Oh,
taken
cool.
into account for a lot of these shots is mind blowing. It's mind blowing to me too that a lot of this is done practically, honestly, especially in
Yeah.
a day and age when we have all green screen. You know. Um,
Right, right.
Now, you guys shot a large portion of this movie on real locations in Los Angeles, in the streets of Los Angeles. What did shooting in those real locations add to the film?
Well, it's kind of a love letter to LA, isn't it? We went
Yeah,
through all these
absolutely.
different neighborhoods, you know. I remember being outside one night when we're waiting to hear if I don't know if that's a spoiler, if the cop in the ambulance has died or not, and we think he has mistakenly, and then we get back in the car and we're like, okay, now it's on. Now no holds barred, save that girl, get these guys, and it was just there's parts of LA I'd never been in, you know. The explosion we had in Chinatown, that giant mushroom cloud that went up when the ambulance, went off, was so many moving parts, so close to being really dangerous, but not,
Right.
it's just, this is, I felt like a child again. I felt like I was playing in the backyard, and what I was seeing in my head was real,
I mean, look, movies like Ambulance are the reason why we go to theaters, at least for me. I mean, it's the type of movies that I kind of grew up on, those big action blockbusters that Michael Bay is kind of known for. Now, not only is this film a love letter to the city of LA, but it's also really a tribute to the first responders. What are you hoping people take away from Ambulance besides the amazing action in the film?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's my first hope, is that they just have a good time, and I don't know if there's a thematic thing that I want them to take home. I feel like, look, these guys are amazing, and the strategies involved, as the world is so weird right now.
Right.
It's just weird and divided and angry, and it feels like a fuse has been lit and someone keeps trying to stomp it out just in time, and then they light it again. And I- just the energy it takes, the beauty of the scene with Issa and the child at the end, and she's obviously changed from this experience, and the performance Michael got out of the children was insane. I mean, I was totally blown away and not expecting that. So I guess, I don't know. I guess I just hope people see how we're all just working hard in our different ways to get something done.
Yeah.
Yaya's character, in this dilemma, just makes a horrible decision.
Right.
Horrible. Trying to take care of his family, and why is it so hard for his family to be taken care of? Shouldn't be. What do we do for our veterans? There's a lot in there. You can look deep, or you can just have a good time. I think there's a lot of reasons to pick up that Blu-ray.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, I know
Special features. Yeah.
Oh, I'm a special features guy myself, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit, mainly because the reason I love special features so much, and especially like DVD commentary, is it almost feels like you're going to film school. It almost feels like you're learning from the best of the best on how they made a particular movie. Just out of curiosity, since we are talking about the home entertainment release for Ambulance, do you have any favorite like either DVD commentaries or something that you look for on Blu-rays, for something for the behind the scenes features that you like to explore?
I don't know if this is going to help or hurt, but I love sci-fi and fantasy stuff. I have 15, 20 boxes of comic books in my house. I think it's why I love movies so much, is I grew up not knowing it, but reading storyboards, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Watching action, each panel is sort of the action to the extreme, the expression of whatever's meant to be happening right at the extreme moment. So I'm the nerd that watched all the special features on the Lord of the Rings DVDs, like every single one,
You and me both, Garrett. You and me both. I sat there, deep dive on all these home entertainment releases. Speaking of which, I know that you're a big comic book fan now. Is there a particular character that you'd like to play within the Marvel or DC universe? I mean, you've worked with legendary DC director now at this point, Zack Snyder. So any characters that you've kind of eyed?
There's a lot of cool ones. I'm trying to think of ones that haven't already been played by someone is the problem, And now who's my age that I could play, what I mean?
Right.
Because I loved, like, the one I loved the most was Master of Kung Fu. I have all of those. Jim Starlin art, Shang-Chi. I loved those books, but I collected artists, I loved, I don't know if you know who Jim Steranko was or Paul.
Oh, I know Jim Steranko. I read his blog for a long time.
Yeah, all those guys, Jim Starlin, Jim Lee is great, but I guess no one's done Mr. Miracle.
Mr. Miracle from the New Gods. I love it.
Yeah, with his lockpick hidden up here, and he was cool, and he hasn't been done yet. I could do that.
That beautiful Jack Kirby art. There was just more recently a Mr. Miracle graphic novel that came out that was fantastic. I think you'd be fantastic as Mr. Miracle.
It'd be fun. TikTok, DC.
Right, TikTok. Well, look, Garret, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for giving me insight into Ambulance. It comes out June 14th on Ultra HD, Blu-ray, DVD, and it's currently available to own now on digital. Thank you so much, Garret. I appreciate it.